Hey, hey, what is going on, comic book familia? Welcome to a brand new show. Yes, this is the very first time I'm doing a show like this. So let me give a little bit background why I decided to do this. I'm usually on Instagram looking at pictures, of other comic book collectors, and I'm always looking at how people have set up their man cave or how they set up their comic books to show. And there's one particular person that every time I see he takes a picture of it, I just stop and stare at it. It's just so nice the way it's set up. So I sent them a message on Instagram saying, "Hey, I really like your setup. Would you like to come on my YouTube channel and just show how your man cave or your office is set up and talk about it?" And he was grateful enough to come on my show. So I'm going to bring him on right now. Hey, Fred, how's it going?
Yeah, doing well, guys. How you doing?
Good. As I said earlier, every time you post a picture of your desk or your office space, I just stop and stare at it because I just think it's so awesome and cool to look at.
I appreciate that, man. Yeah, I find myself stopping and staring quite a bit as well.
Yeah, I myself don't have one. If you can look behind me, my room's a mess. So I'm planning on doing it. My daughter wants to paint the room, so I think I'm going to do something after it's done and have me, do a cave, so to speak, like you did. So.
Yeah, I mean, this is just a former bedroom closet that my wife has graciously allowed me to take over with my with our collection, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So and it's lovely to see the art and have it all on display and not just hiding in a box or somewhere where you don't get to enjoy seeing it daily.
Exactly. It's lovely to look at. And actually, I talked to you before we came on that you did say this is your happy place. So I used those words and this is going to be the thumbnail for the show moving forward. If I have anybody else on my channel talking about their place where they have their comic books, it's going to be called AKA My Happy Place.
Hey, look at that. That looks great.
Yeah. So I got to get a good thumbnail for this. I was thinking, who should I put on the front cover? And I go, let me find a picture of Batman sitting down.
Yeah.
So I just put it like that. So this is going to be the thumbnail for the show moving on. So let me get rid of that. So before we go on and you could talk exactly, how you had your setup, I have a couple questions if that's okay to ask you.
Yeah, of course, of course.
Yeah. And obviously these are comic book related.
All right. Okay.
My first question is, tell us your origin story. When did you start collecting?
I started collecting actually with Archie digests in probably like 82, 81, 82. And then that really just got me into, going to our little grocery store had a spinner rack.
Yeah.
And Kamiko had just come out and I just started getting into superhero books. And, I'm a 10, 11, 12-year-old, starting to dive into this stuff. And Kamiko was quite adult for a 10 and 11-year-old. But, much to my mom's chagrin, she still purchased them for me, which was lovely. So I'd say in the early 80s, on the spinner racks. My dad, trudging me to Comic-Cons in the south side of Chicago. I grew up in the northwest Indiana, Chicagoland area, and my mom and dad were pretty awesome people. They definitely encouraged me collecting and taking me to conventions and whatnot. So
that is awesome. I have an almost similar story. My parents were not into comic books at all, but I grew up in the San Francisco Bay Area in San Francisco, and there used to be a liquor store around the corner from my house, and they had a spinner rack.
Yeah.
And this was in the early 70s. And then once I got my first comic book, I was hooked ever since.
Right. Yeah.
Yep.
Totally.
Okay.
Totally, man.
Now
I wish my parents collected. I wish my dad had collected as a kid, but
yeah,
he was more into old cars and whatnot. So, but you always hear these stories. Yeah, my dad had all these, old, golden age. And you're like, oh,
yep.
Man,
I used to wish the same thing. I go, God, if my dad had only collected comic books.
Baseball cards, comic books. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Awesome. All right. You ready for question number 2?
Yeah, let's do it.
How did you come up with your handle, Pop Warner Comics?
As a way to honor my father, who has passed away about 8 years ago now. My dad had a tavern growing up when I was a kid. It was called Warner's Corner. And he went by the nickname Pop. And then when he became a grandfather, when my sister had my nephews, he just kept going by Pop Warner. And I just thought it was a nice tribute to him. And I thought it kind of worked well with Pop
Yeah.
Warner. You know, it was always like Pop Warner football, and
Yeah.
I got the license plate POPWRNR Pop Warner. You know.
Nice. Yeah. I was
So
like,
really, it's just a way to kind of honor my dad. You know, who is a great guy.
another thing besides Instagram, I was like, looking at people's handles. I go, how did they come up with this name? That's a pretty cool
Yeah,
name. Yeah, it's
totally,
awesome.
totally.
All right. Uh, do you have a favorite comic book character?
You know, I do, and it's kind of I mean, most people probably know him, but Grendel. Have you heard of Grendel? Hunter
Yes.
Rose,
Yep.
created by Matt Wagner in Comico Comics back in 1982 with Primer #2, first appearance of Grendel. Here's one
Nice.
in a 96. But big fan. I've got up here you can see some statues and some more Grendel whatnot stuff. But yeah, that kind of guy who was the anti superhero in the sense where he was a, a villain as well, and he took on his foes that were in the mob world, and there was just something really intriguing to that about that he wasn't this like clean cut guy that you see in some comics at that time.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. I got a couple more questions for you here before
You
we
got it.
show off your site. Do you have a comic book that is special to you?
I bought one in 1985. I was 11, at my local comic book store with all the money I had. I remember I had to run home and get quarters out of my dad's water jug to get enough money to buy it. And I still have it. It's right here. It is an Avengers #1 that seemed pretty darn rough at the time. And I got it signed by Stan Lee in 1989 at the Chicago Comic Con.
Wow.
No, I'm sorry, at the 87 Mid Ohio Con that I went to with Paul Fricke and Scott Biederstadt of Troll Lords fame. I befriended them when I was a kid, and they actually took me for the weekend for the Comic Con, and I've been friends with them for now, 40 years, which is wild.
Let me tell you, going to Comic Con as a kid when you're a collector, there's nothing like it. I mean,
Well, especially back then in the early '80s, the '80s, man, just
yeah,
the '80s alone, like Comic Cons they were comic book conventions.
yep,
There was some art there, right? Maybe a baseball card or two tables, right? But
yeah,
mainly it was comics, man. It was just comic
yeah,
books and comic book fans, and that was
yeah,
it. It was a
yeah.
special time to have been able to experience that.
I wish I had a lot more money back then too.
Oh, to have a time machine.
Yes.
Yeah,
I think
for
of that
sure.
often. God, if I had money when I was a kid, going to all these cons, the books were so inexpensive back then.
20 years ago, if I had money, even,
Yeah.
like.
Yeah. All right. I have a couple more questions for you.
Yes, sir.
What book are you looking to buy next?
I've kind of fulfilled my Silver Age grails in a sense. I do have a showcase 4 cover list that I would love to get a complete showcase for. But other than that, I'm really trying to hunt down a Detective 45, which is the Joker's first appearance in Detective Comics.
Okay.
I think that's kind of I like the detectives of the 1940s. So
Yeah.
trying to finish that run.
I myself keep on saying that I want to buy Golden Age books because I'm after 2 more books in Silver Age, but I just have never bought one. Maybe if I find a good price for one, maybe I'll look into it next.
Man, once you get your first Golden Age book or two, the large format, the big logo,
Yeah.
and just the pure art where it wasn't as busy. It had this, I don't know. There's something about it that,
Yeah.
it's just incredible, I think.
Yeah. Okay, I got one more question. I think it's the most important one. You ready?
Okay, yeah.
All right. Star Trek or Star Wars?
All right. This is going to be a very unpopular opinion. Neither.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Just wasn't into like that genre.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it just like this like space and sci-fi just didn't get me the way it did. But if I had to choose one, Star Wars.
Yeah. So I do shows with my friend Peter, and we asked each other that question. He asked me, and I asked him, and we didn't know the answers to. We didn't know
Mm.
what each other's answers were, and we both chose Star Trek.
Ah,
So that bonded our friendship even more.
I mean, Star Trek had a little more corniness to it and lower production value
Yeah.
from because I mean I grew up watching the TV show. Not, I mean I remember when with the Wrath of Khan when that came out. That was actually a really good movie. I
Yeah.
enjoyed
Yeah.
that quite a bit. Like that was a step up from the TV show, you know. But yeah, I'd say probably the first three Star Wars with which are the 4, 5, 6. But yeah,
Yeah.
those. Yeah.
So if anybody is checking out this video, if you want to check out Fred, his Instagram handle is his handle name right here, Pop Warner Comics. I highly recommend it. I mean, just stop and stare at his books, which I do. I'm just like you said, it's my happy place too. I'm just kind of, oh my gosh, that is so nice to look at. I stared at it like for a couple minutes, and it's basically that you post a picture more than once of the same picture. I just stare at it. It just makes me happy looking at it.
I usually post once I do a change, like once I add one or two different ones. But I'm getting to the point now where I'm just kind of trying to upgrade some books. But I don't want to get to the point where I'm happy with like the 3.5s, zone. I think that's a really nice quality book to have as a 3.5.
Yeah.
If anything.
So that was the last question. Are you ready to show off your site?
Sure, man. Yeah.
Hang on for a second here. Let me make sure I can do this right. Oops, that's not it. Hang on. Get this one here. Is this it? Yeah, let me switch it around. Okay, you're up. Show us your office space.
So this is my happy place. So this is literally just a closet. So this is my living room. And it's just this little, former bedroom closet that I turned into this kind of crazy office. I have some original art as well nearby, which was fun. And then my whole hallway, my wife has allowed me to put up and frame all my artwork. But yeah, down here I've got my big ones, my big boys, including my AF-15 and my Hulk one up here. I've got a CGC award that I could show off. Oh, am I reversed? Oh my gosh, I didn't realize I was reversed. Can I change that?
No, you look fine here.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I got a little plaque from CGC recognizing my outstanding achievement for best copper age set of 2023. It's a set that's up here. It's my Mage set. So Mage was another book done by Matt Wagner in the 80s. It's a statue from it here. But I have 1 through 15 all signed in a 9.8. So it's been a except for number 4, because there aren't any. Number 4, I have a 9.6.
So real quick question. That got me curious. So you sent those books in all at once, correct? Together?
No, no, it was a whole process of trying to complete that run in a 9.8. I bought a handful of them from a guy named Richard Henn, who's in the industry, does a lot of facilitating of signatures and whatnot. He's a big Matt Wagner fan as well. So he let a couple of his go. I had a couple myself. But yeah, it's just been, it's all about the hunt. As a lot of you collectors know, sometimes it's not necessarily getting it, it's trying to find it and then finding it and those endorphins going off. And so the hunt is really what I enjoy. And I like trading and I like just bantering back and forth with other collectors. And,
sure.
Yeah. And this one here, this is my first Golden Age book I ever got. Just a Superman 6 and a 1.5. But what a cover.
Wow.
And love that one. I didn't mean to cut you off. You were about to ask a question.
So I'm a baseball fan, and I see that baseball behind you. Is it signed by anybody?
That is signed by Eddie Matthews.
Oh wow, from the Braves, right?
That's right. And he
dang.
I just sent into CGC. I don't know where the cover is of it. I have a Sports Illustrated 1, and he's on the cover. So
wow.
And
you got to show it on Instagram when you get it back. I'd love to see that. I'm a big baseball fan. I love baseball.
It's in shipping in CGC, which could be who knows how long.
Yeah. Okay, so tell us how you set everything up. It was a closet before, so you had to gut it all out, right?
Yeah, and I managed to fit this desk in here. This is a 1959 Hooker by Mainline. We like our mid-century furniture,
Yeah.
and it fit really nicely in here. Once I got that in here, I was like, okay. I originally had it all white and put up these shelves. I got these shelves from Amazon, really inexpensive, just acrylic shelves. And they just sit and lean on there. So that I guess they are loose, but knock on wood, they haven't fallen yet.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah. Huh.
and then these are actually LEDs. They can change different colors. I usually have them on motion activated, and I usually keep them a little. As you can see, you can also dim them. So
Yeah.
I usually keep them dimmed and on motion activation, just so that way they're not always on all the time.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that. We all know about UV rays. You don't want them sitting in the sun. But do these lights at all, these LED lights, affect the books at all, the front covers, or do you keep them off
Not that I'm
only when you're in
aware
there?
of, but again, I don't have them on all the time, and I don't have any direct sunlight. And then I have a curtain that I pull
Okay,
to keep it really dark, you know.
you're like the great and mighty Oz, right? You open up the curtain.
Do not look behind the curtain. Pay no
Yeah, yeah.
attention to the collection behind the curtain.
Do you switch the comic books around? Because I'm sure you have more than this, in your
Yeah,
collection.
often, but mainly is this. But I like to. I mean, my wife, I futz around is what she calls it, right? So I'm just always futzing around here. I'll put them in chronological order
Yeah,
and then stare at them, and like put them in alphabetical, and then buy the book titles and whatnot. So I do like to keep them grouped in like Golden Age, Silver Age, and then up top is all my Copper Age. I don't collect anything newer than probably 88, 89.
do you think you'd ever move to a bigger space? They say, honey, can I get another space in the house? Or are you just happy with this place?
So we live in Los Angeles.
Yeah,
Square footage is expensive and at a
sure.
premium. So we're
Yeah,
lucky enough to have a two-bedroom condo. And she has said that our second bedroom, we don't have any kids, so we do have just a guest room.
yeah,
Like she's like, once we get to the overflow point, we can take over that with my stuff. But I feel like I'm going to be getting to the point where I'm just trying to minimize my overall collection and just have a smaller, more significant collection than runs of things. As I'm getting older, I feel like I need less stuff, but more of the important stuff, I think.
sure. So on
Yeah.
the very top shelf, you showed those books, but what's on the side? Is it more just graded books?
Yeah. So here, I'm going to go handheld with you. I'm going to take this light off real quick. There we go. So up here is some Grendel. And then that's all my Matt Wagner stuff. And then that continues on more of the main
Yeah,
stuff. And then these are just ones that I'm like maybe selling or ones that I'm, interested in moving at some
sure.
point. Can't really see those. So,
Yeah,
and then here, if I'll show you, if you got a second here.
sure, of course.
This is my art hallway. So
Oh,
this is all
wow.
my,
Nice.
yeah, like original art. Like that's the cover of Grendel 12 right there. This is all my Tim Sale art.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah. So that's kind of what I'm, moving into is more original art as well. Much to my wife's chagrin.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like I said, I'm still just staring at your books. It's just, I don't know, it's something about us that collect comic books. All my books are basically, I say, after I get a graded book, it just goes into the cave, never to be seen again, so to speak, or my box. And I got to do something with the back with my room here. My daughter's going to help me out. We're going to repaint it. I may hit you up on Instagram to see where you got the shelving.
Yeah,
You can give me a link later on.
if anybody's interested, I'll post the Amazon link on my Instagram as well.
Okay.
They're inexpensive and easy to put up, just a couple screws into the wall. And it's just been nice to kind of have them all on display. So many people just keep them locked away in the boxes. So
That's me. Yeah.
yeah, so it's fun.
So how often do you just come into your little office and just sit back and relax and just stare?
Just about every day, because I sit in my lounge chair is right here, so I
Okay.
face this room all day long. So I just often just stare off into the abyss, into the closet, and just look at it.
See,
I feel I'm very lucky and very very lucky to have this collection. I'm well aware of that, and I don't take it for granted. And I enjoy when people come over that know what they're looking at and can really appreciate it. And it tickles me pink to be able to share it with other collectors.
See, that's the way I feel. I appreciate when you post it on Instagram. No matter how many times I have seen your picture, I just stop and stare at it for at least a couple minutes. It just, I don't know, like you said, it's your happy place, but it makes
Right.
me happy also. Just staring at it, going, gosh, that looks so nice. I like
Well,
the way it's nice and clean.
I do tend to overshare a little bit,
Yeah,
but it's fun. I like it.
yeah,
I like to see everybody's collections, and you know, I love it when people post their nooks and their hallways and
yes,
their downstairs and their man caves and like my micro office. It's just fun
yeah,
to see other collectors that are as passionate about it as you are.
yeah. Well, thanks for coming on. And this is short and sweet, but I really, like I said, I really appreciate it. You're my first person ever to do a video like this for. So if anybody's interested, if you check out this video, you can reach me on Instagram. There's my name, Passpoint_comics. I would love to show, your happy place. Let's see if I can get this right. There we go. AKA my
There
happy
it
place.
is.
There it is. So
And I want to say before we sign off here that thank you for always posting great content and filming great content and being an ambassador of our hobby. So thank you for inviting me, and I feel honored to be the first guest on your
yeah.
show.
So one thing, speaking of, when you meet somebody, I remember I seen you at a Comic-Con about a year
That's
ago. I
right.
forgot which one it was. It was in LA. We just
I think
happened to
maybe
pass each
Comic-Con
other really quick.
Revolution or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be going that
We
next weekend or 2 weeks.
Yeah, we just happened to pass each other, and you recognized me because I didn't recognize you until you came up to me. And oh my God, to me, that's one of the best things about this community, just the camaraderie that the collectors have with each other.
And it's great to see those people in person and put a face to the name or a
Yeah.
face to the handle. So that's, and I'll be at Comic-Con Revolution 2 weeks just as a guest. I don't have a store, I don't have a booth. This is all just my personal collection that I buy, sell, and trade out of. But
where do you normally sell comic books, at eBay or just Instagram or?
Instagram and Facebook Marketplace.
Okay.
Honestly,
Awesome.
and then like higher end like pieces of like art and whatnot. I'll do like heritage auctions.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, thanks a lot, Fred, for being my very first guest on this show. Hopefully other people will reach out to me. I'd love to see other people, how they set up their comic books, how they show them. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Like I say, everybody, go out and buy a comic book and read it. Until next time, everybody. Bye.
Bye.